The Nigerian Labour Congress has been reacting and met today with its members and has given the federal government until Wednesday, May the 7th, 2023 to reverse the pump price of petrol or risk a nationwide indefinite protest and strike action by Nigerian workers. The NLC President, Mr. Joe Ajaero, announced this at the end of an emergency meeting of the National Executive Council in Abuja, where he also asked President Bola Tinubu to investigate payments for subsidy under the immediate past administration of former President Buhari. The Congress insists it will not continue to negotiate with persons without portfolio, just as human rights lawyer Mr. Femi Falana describes a hike in the price of fuel as illegal. All right, then, let's get some views on this one. Mr. Femi Falana, rights activist and a lawyer to the NLC, is live with us here in our studio. Thank you so much, NLC. I appreciate your time tonight.
Thank you. Sure.
I guess I should begin with the statement that you have now been quoted for today. You've been quoted to have said that the hiking price is illegal. What do you mean?
Well, the president did say in his inaugural speech that he's going to run an administration anchored on the rule of law. And that implies that all actions of government and its agencies will have to comply with the law. The NNPC has metamorphosed into a limited liability company. It is now NNPC Limited. To that extent, the NNPC, like Total, like ExxonMobil, like Shell, operating in the oil industry, cannot announce increases in the prices of petroleum products. That duty is vested in the government. So, and that is what I mean. There is a judgment of the court, Federal High Court, which has not been set aside. The case of Bamidele Aturu and the Minister of Petroleum Resources. This judgment was delivered in the Federal High Court in Abuja here by Justice Adamu Bello, now retired, to the effect that nobody has the right in Nigeria to fix the prices of petroleum products other than the government. Because you have the Price Control Act, and at that time, the Petroleum Act. Now, PIA Act. So you ask the NNPC, where have you got the powers to fix the prices of petroleum products, or the price of petrol this time around? From 185 or thereabout to 540. How? So, and the clarification is important.
Yesterday on the program, we had the group CEO of the NNPC Limited, and this question was thrown at him, and I did ask him, remember asking him, that are you now the regulator and the operator in this sense? Because now it's totally deregulated if subsidy is gone. And he said they are not the ones who changed the price.
Who did?
He said it's the market forces.
No, the visible market forces cannot, under the Nigerian Constitution and under the PIA, fix the prices of petroleum products.
What agency of government is levied with that responsibility, Mr. Falana?
Under the current situation in which we have found ourselves, since ministers have not been appointed, right? The president is running the country. Only the president can so decide for now.
The price.
Yep. So because you have the Price Control Act, you have the PIA Act, right? There is no provision in our law for market forces to determine the prices of any products in the country.
I wanted to actually just see if I can read through what the NNPC said in their statement.
They issued a statement? Yes.
They issued a statement.
Yes.
And in that statement, if we can bring back that, I mean, in the conversation that we had with him, he said, going forward,
yes,
that the prices are going to be determined by market forces. What do you make of that scenario? You agree with the issue of the market forces?
No, the NNPC Limited issued the statement whereby it fixed the prices of petroleum products. I mean, petrol in Lagos, I mean, you know, in Abuja, in the north. Right? Now, if I understand the GMD, it was saying that in futuro, market forces will fix the price. But for now, NNPC Limited fixed the price.
He said the price list that went viral, that went around,
yes,
were leaked internal documents of the NNPC, that NNPC did not fix it. Let me read through the statement of the NNPC. NNPC said in the statement, adjustment in pump price of PMS.
Yes.
It says, NNPC Limited wishes to inform our esteemed customers that we have adjusted our pump price of PMS across our retail outlets in line with the current market realities as we strive to provide you the quality service we are known for. It is pertinent to note that prices will continue to fluctuate to reflect market dynamics. We assure you that NNPC Limited is committed to ensuring ceaseless supply of product. The company sincerely regrets any inconvenience this development might have caused. We greatly appreciate your continued patronage, support, and understanding through this time of change and growth. Signed, Garbadin Mohammed, Chief Corporate Communications Officer, NNPC Limited. That is what the NNPC has said.
And it's gone viral. And that is the basis. Oh yeah, and that is the basis of the, you know, prices we are witnessing all over the country.
Could it be because they are the sole importer of refined products?
We have always condemned the position of the sole importer because you do not allow for competition. Whereas you may want to bring your products from Europe or America, I may prefer to go to the Middle East. There was a time the government was importing from all over the place. And I said, no. Côte d'Ivoire has a functional refinery. So why don't you refine from that country? We now refine about 60,000 barrels per day. I don't know what the current number is. We even go to Niger, right, to refine. Because for 30 years, shamefully, this country is the only oil-producing country in the world that imports petroleum products. Only one.
Even with 4 refineries that are not working.
These guys collapse them. You have an incompetent and a reckless ruling class.
You think it's intentional for the refineries not to be working?
Oh yes, because between 1993 and 2016, the government spent $6 billion, $6.025 billion on turning around maintenance of the refineries. At the end of the day, the government left them at a comatose stage. And when President Buhari came on board, as a former minister, because he had promised, as a former minister of petroleum resources, I'm going to fix the refineries. So Labour reminded him in 2015, fix the refinery. Oh, but what do you call it? Neoliberal forces in the government discourage the government. Oh, government has no business in business. Let private people do so. But the government was not reminded that licenses issued by the Obasanjo regime for establishing refineries were simply dumped by those who got them. Unfortunately, the same government was now persuaded, as the Buhari regime, to invest through the NNPC $2.7 billion in the Dangote refinery. We're going to be supplying that refinery 300,000 barrels of crude oil per day. Those who say government has no business in business. It was at that stage, President Buhari, as Minister of Petroleum Resources, why are we doing this? Why are we not fixing our own refineries? It was at that stage, almost belatedly, that the government approved that Port Harcourt refineries, 2 of them, be fixed with the sum of $1.5 billion. Warri and Kaduna be fixed with the sum of $1.4 billion. So, in addition to our investment in Dangote refinery, you're also talking of $2.9 billion to fix the 4 early refineries of the country. Now, nobody is asking the question, when will the repairs be completed?
They say Port Harcourt will be over it should be functional by December.
Yes.
That's the latest you heard.
Yeah. What of Kaduna and Warri? When will Dangote refinery become functional? So that we can look at all the circumstances in which we have found ourselves and then take the best decision.
Mr. Falana, if you look at the statement of the NNPC, it doesn't really suggest that there is a fixed price.
No.
It just said that they wanted to adjust it and informing the public.
No. What they are simply saying is that we want to sell at an international price, which is being circulated now to over around $1 per liter. And I've asked myself, right, where has 540 naira come from? If, according to the central bank, we have not further devalued the naira, so the official rate is 451 naira to $1. So if you want to sell at an international price, you are internationalizing the price. Why are you not talking of 451 naira? And in any case, as I have said, and for me, I think the ultimatum given by the NSC provides the government an opportunity to go back to the drawing table and clear some of the confusion in the air. Whereas the president, in his inaugural speech, simply announced that fuel subsidy has been eradicated by the previous regime. When suppliers began to sell at the prices went to the roof, were then told, no, we still have arrangement to have subsidy on coal till the end of June. Now, if those who were supplied fuel by NNPC Limited at the old price are now profiteering and unleashing economic pain on Nigerians, and nobody's checking them. So Falana, why are you not selling?
Let's look at these issues one after the other.
At 550
now, the issue of subsidy,
yes,
it looks to me that there is a popular belief amongst Nigerians that it's an evil that we cannot allow for too long a time. Do you agree that subsidy is an evil within the marketplace that should be eradicated?
Sure. Subsidy is the failure, now called the incompetence of the Nigerian neo-colonial state to make the refineries functional. And when they then embark on importing petroleum products, we want this country will be grounded the way you guys are going. Again, figures were flying to the extent that the immediate past Controller General of Customs, Colonel Amidali, went to the National Assembly to challenge NNPC, to challenge DPR. Your figures are fake. The immediate past Minister of State in the Ministry of Petroleum Resources, Tim Receiver, said the importation agenda is a criminal enterprise. So, what are you talking about subsidy? You think we're subsidizing smugglers? No functional state can come out publicly that smugglers have taken over our country. Or you say oil thieves are operating without check. No state, no state, any modern state cannot say that. And then what do? Let us punish the people. So for me, and I think that came out in the discussions in the NSC meeting today, that this is not a question of we no go agree. It's not a we no go agree agenda. We must now look at the economy holistically and challenge the reckless dollarization of the economy. Why must I be looking for dollars in my country? Why should some schools be collecting dollars as fees? I mean, school fees, rents being collected in dollars. Some fees are paid in dollars for professionals.
By the CBN Act, that is illegal.
No, it's illegal. Section 20. The legal tender in Nigeria shall be naira and kobo. It's illegal. It's a criminal offense.
No transaction must be made or should be made in any currency other than naira.
Other than naira. That's the law. They haven't amended the law. But these guys have ruined the economy by spending dollars so irresponsibly.
Mr. Falana, if the NLC go ahead, if the federal government says it won't, well, the issue of subsidy must go, and it has to go.
You see.
Just a moment, sir. If they say that subsidy must go, and the NLC goes ahead, isn't it causing some kind of anarchy for a government that is just going to be about 2 weeks old?
Sure. For me, when workers issued an ultimatum, in Nigeria and wherever, it is an invitation to the government to review its position. And the government this time around, frankly speaking, will have to look at the totality of the economy. If we are talking of subsidy, what you call first subsidy is an infinitesimal aspect of subsidies in the country. The rich, the comprador bourgeoisie, people who call captains of industry, are subsidized by the government beyond what you are calling for a subsidy. What are you talking about? Between 2016 and 2022, the Buhari regime granted duty waivers to the tune of 16 trillion naira. You can Google. You can find it, 16 trillion naira of people brought goods to the country without paying import duty, to the detriment of the economy. In December 19, 2018, the then Director of Budget, Mr. Ben Akabweze, addressed CEOs of government enterprises and told them, you guys have refused to remit 10 trillion naira to the Federation account. I can go on and on and on. We have just filed a case against the Emefiele Central Bank, where the guy sold a bank for 50 billion naira. Avon revitalized that bank with the sum of 1.3 trillion naira. So, 380 people in this country, according to AMCON, are owing 5.4 trillion naira because the banks were going to collapse in 2008. The central bank gave trillions to the bank. Now, those who took toxic loans were threatening the economy, and that was how AMCON was set up, Asset Management Corporation of Nigeria, to buy off their debts. What type of subsidy is greater than that? So, I can go on and on and on. So, in the interest of the country, let us look at the economy.
I'm looking at the implication of the threat of the NLC.
Let me tell you.
Is it not too early in the life of this government?
You see, again, I've said it. Government has begun discussions in Nigerian Labour Congress, which perhaps should have preceded the announcement. But it's a new government. And I expect, as a new government, to take advantage of the opportunities that exist. I tell you one, Shem, there's a group of countries now fighting the dominance of the dollars in their economy. The dollar in their economy. We call those countries BRICS. Brazil, Russia, India, China, and South Africa. Nigeria is missing. And they are currently trading among themselves in their own local currencies. Shimo. And I have suggested this publicly. Kenya was spending $500 million per month to import petroleum products. The leadership of Kenya met with the leadership of Saudi Arabia. We are unable to mobilize dollars. Can we have an arrangement? So, Saudi Arabia agreed, we shall be supplying you petroleum products. But you pay us in shillings. China 5 years ago entered into a currency swap agreement with Nigeria. All Nigerians who are buying goods in China pay naira. For our own business here, pay yuan. The IMF and World Bank did not allow that arrangement. So for me, this government has an opportunity to look at the economy holistically. Look at what is going on with the demand, the struggle for a new international economic order, and fit in.
On a final note, Mr. Falana, so the question, the bigger picture we're looking at here is there is already Nigerians who are hurt and pained in the manner in which this policy had come and affected their lives because of the price hike in the price of petrol has affected transportation and immediate effect on the price of commodities, food on their table.
And rents.
Yeah. Now, you're looking at the situation where NLC is planning a nationwide strike and protest. That will also have effect on the economy.
For sure.
I mean,
and that's why the government was avoided.
But if the government is already meeting the NLC, so the question is that one we wonder if there is other softer ways in addressing it. On the final note, Mr. Falana.
No, for me,
just 60 seconds.
Sure. The government, as I said, will have to look at all the options on the table. One of which is the Lagos State government with Ohando. I've just entered into an agreement with a Chinese company to bring electric buses to Lagos. Some of the buses have arrived. This government, the Buhari regime, this APC regime, in 2020, January 2020, announced that we are going to migrate
CNG
to CNG. And the central bank earmarked 250 billion naira to encourage companies that were going to promote that migration. So for me, these are the options on ground. Of course, we can say, oh, why can we continue to waste $10 billion according to them? Figures are also questionable.
Right.
We can then look at the alternatives to PMS so that the poor are not further subjected to excruciating pain.
Mr. Falana, so you saying that it is illegal, the hike in the price?
Oh, yes.
And the implication is that anybody selling above
185
is illegal?
Of course.
Are you planning to go to court on that?
Well, the NSC has given some instructions, but I won't give you the details for now.
Mr. Femi Falana, rights activist and senior advocate of Nigeria, thank you so much indeed for your time tonight.
Thank you very much.
I really appreciate it.
Thank you, my pleasure.